Oh no, your $20 power supply.
Okay, I didn't pay $20 for it. It was free. Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steven. This is 60 Cycle Hum the Guitar Buying, Selling, Trading, Modding, Fixing, Breaking, Reviewing, Playing podcast.
All those things are plausible? Let's find out.
Are they deniable? This first ad was sent by Roy Bunch. It's a Yamaha Pacifica Headless Custom.
Hell yeah, here we go.
$200. The price is right.
I don't know, it might be a little high.
About this listing, Yamaha Custom Homemade Headless Guitar. Thank you for that extra space. This is on Reverb. Like, okay, I've had this thought with Reverb where Craigslist always felt a little like low effort. Like we're just everybody, half the people on it were posting from, you know, a 486 DX, you know, barely clogging along AOL 4.0 machine, right?
Right.
And Reverb feels like technology.
So
Whenever there's a listing that's like, about this listing, it's a guitar. It's like, you're on a platform where if you sell this item, you are going to have to pay taxes in some form.
Tell us the story.
Like, give us more than Yamaha Custom Homemade Headless Guitar. Like, are you, and maybe that's the thing, maybe they're not actually trying to sell this.
You don't have to spend the amount of time you spent making the mod to type it out. But if you spent 5 minutes, you'd have 3 paragraphs and everyone would know what the heck you were trying to do here.
So there's some elements here that are something.
There's a couple things going on here. So we've got a Yamaha Pacifica, kind of a pretty finish starting out, kind of like this tobacco, kind of sunsetty sort of burst.
I would say
pale
it's
interior.
It's probably closer to Fender's Sienna burst.
Now, I don't know if your eye caught it, Steve. I don't know if you noticed or not, but this guitar has been modified.
Really?
Yeah. So the pick guard.
It's the pick guard.
The pick guard is aftermarket. I don't know if they painted that themselves or if that was some material they had cut up or something like that. Oh, also they cut off the headstock and they cut away parts of the body to make basically a classical style headstock at the butt of the guitar to house the tuners. Oh, and also it has a strat trim and the strings are going through the strat trim, underneath the strat trim into the tuners.
Is that trim's not usable, right?
Well, you could try. They put a little sticker over the hole to try to remind you not to use it. But you could try and things would probably happen. And those things would probably be, 1, you'd probably go way out of tune and never return. And 2, you might even break strings.
And then they put this like shoestring that's stapled in place.
I didn't even look at that.
Yeah, on the head. It's like, that's so you can hang this guitar. Like, that's got to be what that's for, right?
That's what it's for. It's totally what it's for. It's a piece of rope. It almost looks like either like the sunglasses holders that you buy at a gas station.
Sure.
Or it looks like some sort of rubber tubing.
No, those are shoestrings, dude.
You think those are shoestrings?
1,000% those are shoestrings.
Oh, there they are.
Look, Ryan.
They look a little big. It couldn't just be like a normal nylon rope.
Look, Ryan.
All right, Steve knows about shoestrings.
I worked at Big Five for like 2 years. I happen to be an expert in shoestrings.
I'm an expert on budget, and I know shoestrings when I see them, you know?
Yeah.
And French fries. If these were French fries, I'd be able to tell you right away if they were shoestring or not.
These are like they're like semi-fat. These are like athletic shoes.
They're chunky.
That's why you don't recognize them, Ryan, because these are for like athletic shoes.
Okay, all right. Steve's got to flex his athleticism.
Do I have those
over me?
Right now? I don't.
He does not.
I have
Do I have those?
I have
I'm wearing sandals.
Okay, you're wearing like Tevas down there.
They're good. They're comfortable.
You're gonna go do some river running after this.
Like, why do you even need shoes here anyway? What are you gonna step on?
I was just wearing them when I came in your house.
You should be barefoot.
I was just tracking the outdoors all over your indoors.
You should be wearing gloves, not shoes.
You mean like Vibram Five Fingers?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I hate
also the back of the remainder of the headstock. Yeah. They just drilled the holes through the nub of the headstock to run the strings through, to run the ball ends through. They didn't have room for the high E, so it's offset.
Oh my gosh, you're right. So I thought that this was like one of the, I thought maybe they, took the extra effort to take like that nut holder. I don't know whatever is on on the far end, the ball holder off of
they sell these things on Amazon.
What are they called?
Just a string holder that you would put at the end of a headless guitar.
Yeah, so I thought it was that.
It's a kit thing that you can buy. They sell the dang things.
But no, they cut the entire. They cut off basically like 80% of the headstock off, and then painted it black so it would look like one of those.
And that there's no way that headstock broke off on its own. This is not a modification that came out of necessity of like, oh no, I knocked my Yamaha Pacifica against the dresser and the headstock just fell off like a Gibson.
They did this on purpose.
It's a maple neck. It's never going to crack. It's never going to break off. Not that way anyways.
No,
this is fully intentional.
You know what this is? Because I'm looking at like the whole carve contour around the back or whatever. This is somebody who, they got a bandsaw or a router or a bandsaw and router for Christmas, and they were like,
they told Santa that they wanted to join a band for Christmas, and Santa was like, best I can do is a bandsaw.
Yeah. This is just, I do kind of love.
This is okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do kind of love that the headstock is not added on when they like had a plan. They're like, okay, here's my body, and I'm gonna cut in from the sides, and then hold on, I got to leave this rectangle in the middle, and then I got to cut through the center of this rectangle to install my tuners.
I bet there's all kinds of really cool aftermarket headless guitar bridges that would have housed all the tuning situations and stuff like that. And it didn't even need to leave this protuberance coming out of the butt end of it. This collapsed rectal headstock situation.
Yeah, if you're going to go this far, just make a freaking Traveler.
Right. There's other ways to add tuning to the end of your headstock here, and it's not running the strings through a Strat trim into a classical headstock for some reason. Like, this is so... they had an idea. You know what this is? This is the person who's on all the guitar forums and the groups and stuff like that in the comment section of every video going, I could build that in my backyard for $50. Like this is their attempt at their building skills, making good on that $50. They're like, oh, headless guitars? Oh, what are those things? $40,000? I don't think so. I think I could build that with my Yamaha Pacifica for under $300, and this is what they did.
The tuners are angled because otherwise they won't fit. I mean, they would still fit, but
no, I see what you mean. They'd be really tight together. Oh man, they cut first, ask questions later, right?
Yeah. Well, that's all the so there are things about this that are like architecture. What would you call it? Like, it's not architecture.
Are you like structurally sound?
No, I'm saying like there's not wood.
There's not wood.
So I'm saying this protuberance is the entire length of the remainder of the guitar. So those tuners had to fit in that space because that's all the room that they have.
But also, I want you to look at something real quick.
What am I looking at, Ryan?
That the butt headstock.
Yes.
Is barely hanging on. There's barely any wood holding it on there because it's housing around the Strat trim.
Yeah.
It's floating on like 1/8 of an inch of wood on each side.
Yeah.
This is a disaster. Like the original headstock would have never broken off. This will. A solid knock against anything, and this is popping off. And I don't mean in a good way popping off.
Right. This is $200 on Reverb.
No.
It's from lots
it's not
of
worth,
guitars.
It's not worth shipping.
Statsburg, New York.
Don't. It's over for this thing. The only thing left is the pickups and the pots, and that pickguard. That pickguard, you could salvage that.
Can we which Yamaha Pacific? I hope this was like a was it the?
Oh, it's one of the brand new American-made ones.
10? Yeah, right. It's like I'm assuming this was probably is it the Pac 10?
I don't know. I don't know
whatever the entry
I just
level.
remember Pacifica's being $199 at Guitar Center every day of the week.
I think it's the Pac 12.
All right, whatever.
Not to be confused with the Pacific Athletic Conference.
No.
So you're saying this is not a buy?
I think this is a buy, as in sayonara.
All right. Well, thanks for your submission. Roy, if you wanna send submissions, I've been taking these submissions and posting.
If this was here right now,
you'd step on it.
No, it's straight out the airlock.
Straight out the airlock.
Straight out the airlock. I'm not even gonna put it in the furnace.
Right. I've been posting pictures on Instagram from these listings. I finally started doing it regularly, and honestly, I started doing it because one of the ones I posted blew up. The resin Les Paul. Yeah. Blew up a little bit.
I've been telling you forever.
It's just been because before I was trying to do like all of them all at once, and then I realized it's not shareable if it's all of them at once. So I post like 3 pictures. The cat one I think has 500,000 views.
Yeah, everyone loves a cat guitar. I didn't select a cat guitar today. I didn't think it was catty enough. I think it was a Joey ad.
And then if it's like a slow day, then I'll just go back and I'll pull something out of the archive.
Yeah, totally. Like, honestly, you could go through all the ads that I've gone through that I didn't select and, like, call me out and be like, should Ryan have picked this one?
Yeah.
Now, and then maybe you can resurrect some of them. You'd be like, Ryan really missed one here.
No, I say that because, that sounds too much like work. Because I'd have to go into the email and then download it. It is like,
I know.
The point being, people are like, oh, do you own this? Do you own this? Do you own this? Well, you don't own any of it. But if you want to get in on this action, you can send us an email at 60cyclehumcast.com with screenshots and a link to whatever ad that you think might end up on the show. And maybe it'll end up on the show and maybe it'll end up on our Instagram. And we won't give you credit because we won't know that you sent it.
Also,
but if we do, then maybe we will.
Also, if we talk about it on the show, we talk about 3 used listings every single episode. Yeah. And at the end of every single episode, we pick our favorite. Are you glad I picked that finger instead of one of the other ones? It could have been that one right there. Our favorite one of the 3. And then you know what we do? We give the winner a $25 virtual gift certificate printed on the heaviest, most premium of digital cardstock imaginable.
Yeah.
And you can have it to any fast food establishment or retailer of your choice. Just tell Steve in the email where you want your gift card to, and he'll do his best to make it possible.
Someday.
You want to win 25 virtual dollars?
No, there's 25 real dollars.
They're real dollars, but it's not physical currency.
Yeah.
It's code on the internet somewhere.
Yeah. That's right.
But you can spend it.
Ryan.
Yes, Steve.
This episode's also brought to these fine folks viewing at home by Chase Bliss.
That's right, Steve.
Today, this episode is dropping. Let's see. This episode is dropping on March 31st, the last day of March.
You're not going to say something that I'm going to have to like bleep out, are you?
No, I just didn't want to. I wanted to know if this was an April Fool's episode.
It's not an April Fool's episode. It's not.
Well, because I feel like Chase Bliss, they normally do an April Fool's thing, right?
Everyone does. I mean, we're not going to do it. That's silly.
If you think Chase Bliss might do an April Fool's thing, you should go to their website, chasebliss.com today, March 31st. Get on their mailing list. If it's not March 31st, if it's another day from that, get on the list for next year.
You know what we do here is too serious to even spend a single day of the year being foolish. We don't have the bandwidth for that.
I literally did not have the bandwidth this year.
Go follow Chase Bliss on all their socials. Maybe they'll do something foolish.
Yeah.
Go check it out. It's coming up quick. A global holiday of tomfoolery. Right. You want to see what they do over there, right?
Yeah. All right, Ryan.
Yes, Steve.
I'm trying to figure out how to introduce this topic.
We're rehashing something that happened 4 weeks ago again?
I think
because
so.
There was a lot of tread on that tires, and we're just going to keep spinning them in the mud.
Yeah.
You know?
So of course we did this episode where we talked about in a semi-nuanced way about how you don't like the big artists that play PRS guitars.
I don't like PRS music.
Sure.
was the topic,
and the exceptions that we have found are
Jimmy's Chicken
Shack,
311.
Were there any others?
I'm sure there are other bands I like that play PRS guitars, but when you think of like the quintessential PRS signed artist, there's a really good chance it's just not my style of music. It's just marketed to a totally different type of dude.
I do think so. One observation that I made that I think is interesting is the number of people who were like, if you don't like Mark Tremonti, Carlos Santana, or John Mayer,
then you don't like music.
Then that's all the music, and it was,
that covers all music.
But I did think it was kind of interesting to see fans of like Santana and John Mayer. I do see some relationship there, but I was kind of surprised at the number of like Tremonti fans who were jumping on, like, who have that breadth. I don't know, like that's probably just my own brain. But the band that I thought got the most, like, I can't believe, like,
right,
you
how dare
like
you
guys, how dare you, and it's because of the way RJ edited the short to have no nuance,
and because we set him up that way to do it.
Was Opeth.
Yeah, a lot of people have just been floored that, one, apparently I don't like Opeth. I haven't listened to them yet. Or two, that I haven't listened to them yet. So we're going to fix that today. Steve is going to play a couple Opeth songs, and we're going to find out whether or not I actually hate Opeth the way the short on Instagram made it seem that I do.
So, according to Wikipedia, they are progressive metal, progressive rock, or death metal, depending on the album. But we're going to listen to this first song from the album.
I feel like that's quite a range. Your progressive rock or your death metal? Like,
could be.
What is happening in between those two spots?
I'm trying to figure out what song I'm playing.
And we're not going to play the whole song because we'll get demonetized, but we're going to listen.
Well, we're going to listen to it. We're not.
And you'll see us going by super quick here, and then we'll have thoughts. But we'll tell you what song it is, obviously, so you can listen along at home if you want to pause the show.
I can't figure this out. I'm too stupid. Sorry. From the album, I just want to pull up the album because I think it's useful. Ghost Reveries. 2005. This is the 8th studio album by Opeth in 2005. So that's the thing that I didn't know about them, is that they've been around since 1990. But we're going to listen to...
I don't know anything about
We're going to listen to the opening track.
Other than that they play PRS guitars.
Yeah, we're going to listen to the opening track. It's called Ghost of Perdition. Hopefully my iPad doesn't break while we try to do this.
How many songs are in this song?
This is the PRS, right?
Someone dead or alive. I liked the ending a lot, and I'll have lots to say. Are all their songs 11 minutes long?
No, the next one that we're going to listen to is only 6 minutes long.
Okay, so is that song meant to be like a trailer for the whole album? Like,
I don't know.
Last time on Opeth, and it's just like a recap of like every single style you're going to hear across the album.
I kind of like, but they have other songs that are like 10 minutes long. I don't think you can write a 10-minute long song that doesn't have multiple movements like that.
No, of course not. But There's a lot of different songs in that song.
Right.
And I get that that's the progressive element of it. Like, oh, we're going to change time. We're going to change just the whole feel. We're going to change all the elements across the song. And you're going to hear a lot of different stuff. It's not just going to be 4 on the floor with the same 4 chords for the whole time. Like, obviously, man, it really just goes back and forth in between styles so aggressively, it's metal, so it's aggressive in that way, but the musical shift is so aggressive there.
I think and this is where finding out that they are a much older band than I thought, because when I heard this song originally, I thought a lot about, there's a band called I liked when I was a kid. I still like this album called From Autumn to Ashes. Yeah, From Autumn to Ashes. And they have a song that's like 10-minute song that kind of has this like back and forth, it's really heavy, and then it's like really pretty, and it's really heavy again, and then it's really pretty, like that whole thing. So when I heard that song, this Opeth song, I thought like, oh, was this just what every band was doing around then? Not realizing that a lot of the bands that were probably doing that sound in the 2000s were probably doing it because of Opeth.
Yeah.
Or because of bands like Opeth.
All right, play the next song.
All right, this song's called Sorceress.
And this is one people recommended?
2016 album. Basically, I picked these songs based on the number of plays that they had. So both of these songs are in like the top 5 or 10 most popular Opeth songs on YouTube Music.
All right.
So that was, I did pre-listen to Road to Perdition. I kept coming back to it. I kept thinking like, can we really listen to an 11-minute song? And I was just like, screw it. Like, I really like that song.
No, I didn't hear anything in there that I didn't like, that I thought was bad. Yeah. But we'll have a more nuanced discussion after this next song.
You want to listen to the other song?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Nice tremolo. Oh, there's a drip in there.
You did it, Ryan. You listened to 2 Opeth songs.
It was the length of any other band's full album.
All right.
So it's a discussion whether or not I like them, or is the discussion whether or not they're good? What do we want to start with?
Well, I think,
because something can be very good and it's not necessarily for me.
This was their 12th album. I don't think you get to make.
Well, that's cheating. They had so much practice.
I don't think you get to make that many albums if somebody doesn't think you're good.
Oh,
so I don't know that we can talk about whether or not they're good.
Okay. I'm just going to say they're undeniably good.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt in my mind that, and we already know because of all the comments we got on that Instagram short, that there's no surprise that they're a hugely successful band, and tons and tons and tons of people like them, love them, adore them, worship them. I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Sure. Okay. So let's table the question of.
I didn't hear anything in there that I thought sounded bad. I will say though, at the beginning of that song, what was it called?
Sorceress.
I loved how funky it started.
Yeah.
And when it stopped being funky, I felt disappointed and I felt a bit grumpy, and I was like, man, the rest of this feels a bit forgettable to me.
I think their later stuff,
they're really good at outros though.
I think they're like after 2010 stuff tends to get a bit more of that jazz funk thing going on.
I
kind of bounced around through their catalog a bit.
If anyone wants to recommend one of their songs to me that leans into that funkiness, I'll check it out.
Yeah. So let's start with this question. What did you think? Here's what I don't want you to answer right now. I don't want you to answer whether or not you would listen to more of their music. Okay. We'll answer that later.
I'll let you steer the boat here.
The question I want to ask is, in general, were they more or less what you thought they would be? I don't know if you had any sort of preconceived notions.
I think they're better than I thought they would be.
Okay.
I think they are more grounded in some classic metal stylings that I appreciate than I was expecting. I was expecting something more late 90s modern.
Okay. Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting it to feel like there is some, like Maiden DNA or in there or something like that. Like it feels like there is an approach to it, but it feels like there's some Alice in Chains floating around, as well as a lot of modern chugga chugga metal and stuff like that.
I know there's definitely a motif or it's not even really a motif. It's just a segment in Ghost of Perdition where every time I hear it, I think of War Pigs.
Sure.
Because it's kind of got that like rising, it's a vocal rising melody.
Right.
And it's in rhythm with the, like, Jun, Jun, Jun,
no,
Jun,
they're
Jun,
definitely
Jun.
not, they definitely know how to exploit a groove.
Sure.
Like they find a groove and they dig it deeper and they settle in there. Like that's a powerful thing. And a lot of modern metal that I've heard kind of fails in that respect, where it's more about the deedly-deedlies and how fast you can double bass drum it and stuff like that. I appreciate the musicality of it. I think that they're very good at making songs. From the two that I've heard, well, the first one that we heard was about 4 songs chopped up and scrambled together. Right. But they're very good at their musical parts.
Sure. Does this sound like what you think of as, like, when you hear this and you think about PRS guitars?
Well, see, if you asked me if this across the board is what I would think of as PRS music, then I'd probably go, I mean, it's possible. If you asked me if I thought it was PRS metal, I'd go, yeah, that's PRS metal. Because it's leaning more into the heavy, low-strung chugs.
Oh, okay.
Versus, like, think about, like, Ibanez metal.
Sure.
It's not Ibanez metal. It's PRS metal.
What's Ibanez? Like, is it because it's not fast enough?
Like Steve Vai, Satriani sort of stuff.
Oh, that kind of,
like shreddy virtuoso stuff.
Sure.
The virtuosity in this, like the playing, it's all very skilled, but the virtuosity is in the arrangements.
Right. It's not somebody who's just like playing a 9-minute long guitar solo.
Right. And there's virtuosity
is that what Steve Vai does?
in the arrangements of shredders as well. But that's not what this is. Right. There's some nuance to that distinction.
There's full, I mean, even both songs, but Sorceress in particular has some like sections that I think there's like one section where I think it's a Hammond and a guitar playing against each other.
Yeah, that was great.
Like there's some really cool elements. Like they're definitely like, it's a rock band. Like it's a metal band.
Right.
It's Swedish. It's Swedish death prog.
Right. But like when you said death metal, I was like, is this just going to be, like that sort of thing?
RJ, that's the clip.
There's the clip, RJ. Pull the lever that cuts off the clip. All
right.
But this, like I said, it has that Maiden DNA in it.
Yeah.
As well as many others that I do appreciate. Okay, next question.
This is the last question.
All right.
And I think you kind of already maybe alluded to this earlier. Would you listen to more Opeth? Are you open to Opeth?
Am I open to Opeth? Man, it would have to be the exact right situation, and I can't see myself going, you know what, they won me over. I don't think that just happened. I understand them. I know what they are now based on 2 songs. I'm sure there's a lot more variety there. I mean, based on those 2 songs, I can bet there's a lot more variety.
Yeah.
It definitely sounds like they like to play musically. Like they like to play in their space. They like to explore. They like to take a song and be like, okay, this next part, we're going to do something that we have not done the rest of this song. Right. And so let's just find something that'll happen.
Sure.
I like that. I like the ADD, the ADHD kind of element to it there. It's not my kind of music. This isn't what what I would put on a long drive to the beach or something like that. This isn't what I'm going to put on as working music when I'm sitting there working on something. I can appreciate it. I can appreciate the skill involved. I can appreciate the talent, but it's just not my vibe.
Yeah.
And
I think that was the hardest. I mean, so I think that was maybe the hardest thing about when we talked about that topic before, is people just kind of assuming like,
right,
well, you've never listened to this. But I think there is a lot to be said for like, everyone has a vibe. Like, there's music that I've listened to where I'm like, yeah, clearly this is really good. I don't think I've ever gone out of my way to listen to like Segovia.
Yeah. I just can't see myself driving to the beach and putting this on instead of Wall of Voodoo. You know?
whereas like I'm actually pretty happy that our audience, like, or maybe not our audience, because it was on Instagram and it went to like 99.
It went to the general guitarist population.
But I'm actually like happy that there were so many people who are like, what about Opeth? What about Opeth? Because I had never listened to them before.
Yeah. I'm happy that we have this experience.
Yeah, and I will listen to more Opeth.
Sure.
Because it is a style of music that like I've listened to like hardcore in the past, and I've listened to artists that I would say are adjacent maybe to Opeth.
Sure. Yeah.
So I will continue to listen. I'll listen to Opeth for you, Ryan.
I think if I end up listening to Opeth, it's because I'll one day be in a metal mood and I'll throw on a playlist and it'll be in there when I see it pop up. I'll be like, oh, Opeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm listening to some Opeth now. Every now and then it happens. Every now and then I want to listen to something outside of my norm.
Yeah.
And I go over to the metal side for
this
a little
would be
bit.
like lawnmower music for me.
Oh, that'd be good lawnmower music. I was thinking like the correct time to expose me to this, and it could have happened because they started in the 80s or the 90s?
1990.
1990. So might as well, they started in the 80s. It wasn't the 90s yet in 1990. They were still wearing parachute pants over there.
Sure.
At Opeth headquarters. Like, don't lie. You know, you had the flat tops and the parachute pants, and you were just like, come on, we know what you were doing. But if you had given me one of their CDs,
right,
like 1994, I'm 13 years old. I put it in my boom box with the speakers separated on the shelves in my room because you got to spread them out to get the stereo.
Yeah,
the speakers are this big. I would have put the CD in and I would have laid on my bed and I would have been like, yeah, no one understands me. Like sort of experience. Knowing everything else that I was listening to at the time, I don't think it would have become like a cherished thing for me.
Sure.
I don't think it would have changed the trajectory for me.
Right.
But I think I would have enjoyed it.
All right.
Yeah, for what it was, you know.
Well, stay tuned, folks. Next week, Ryan listens to Nirvana for the first time. Just kidding. Just kidding.
For the last time.
For the last time.
I swear I'll never listen again after this. I don't know if okay, this is going to actually sound shocking. I've never owned a Nirvana album. It's one of those bands where it was on the radio so much.
Right.
And so many of the songs were on the radio that it didn't feel necessary to ever own a Nirvana album. I don't think I ever had a full Nirvana album in like the LimeWire days either.
I can definitely confirm the first part. I don't know if they were how much of it was actually released as singles, but at least in San Diego, because they would seem like they would add on more and more. By like 2004, I think 80% of Nevermind was being played on the radio.
Yeah, like every song was a radio song.
Yeah.
So like there was no reason to buy the album for a poor kid like me, you know? So yeah, I don't know.
They kind of,
I don't think I've actually ever listened to a full Nirvana album. As crazy as that sounds.
That is odd.
But I would definitely list them as a formative influence on me.
We're going to have a future episode where we just listen through the entirety.
Right, but it's just going to be listening to the radio songs that I've already heard a million times, just in their correct order.
No, that was, I think listening to a couple tracks from an artist, especially one that's really as big as they are, that had so many fans that you haven't experienced. I have only started experiencing a couple weeks ago. I think that was fun. I think that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great.
I
need to go through and listen to a bunch of the other bands that people suggested as well.
I don't know how duplicatable.
I want to listen to Bog Wizard. Just on the name, I want to listen to Bog Wizard.
You should listen to Bog Wizard.
I keep saying that. I'm going to do it.
There's Bog Wizard, and then there's like Bog Wizard featuring Frog Lord. And I don't know what that means, but I kind of love it.
Sign me up. Yeah. Sign me up for that, whatever that is. Frog Lord? Yeah. Is he friends with Spider King?
All right, Ryan,
Spider King for president 2029 is all I'm saying.
2029?
He's going to swoop in there in a weird time.
2029 is...
I know, man. I know. Wait for it. You'll see. Spider King 2029.
This next ad was sent by Joey Scar.
Yeah.
Here's a rare one from the golden era of Japanese guitar craft. The Greco Cougar was made in 1983 as a limited run for the Mikasa Music Store. Only 50 Cougar 1 and 50 Cougar 2 were made. The Cougar 1 features a mahogany body with a spruce top. The fretboard is ebony with pearl bird inlays and fret edge binding like Gibson. Pickups were Greco Dry 82, which was their best pickup at that time. The bridge pickup on this guitar has been replaced with a Duncan Custom DCJ model, hand-wound by Maricela Juarez. Great sounding pickup. Some measurements, except the bridge pickup. The guitar is all original, wired for one volume, and tone controls for each pickup. Guitar functions perfectly. Pictures, damage. Finish cracks on the neck that my luthier assures me are cosmetic only. A couple of the bird inlays have been repaired. I'm a pro player and have used and have used the guitar for 5 years. Never a problem. It's like a Les Paul, but better. Not too heavy. 8.6 pounds. Quality is right up there with the best Greco super real models that I've owned. This is, where's the price? Price. Did you not include the price?
There might not have been a price if I don't have it in there.
There's no price. It's free.
It's free. Congratulations. Maybe it ended up in a different folder because I'm correcting that issue right now. In this one, there is a wrong thing in this folder.
This guitar looks like those Vox single cuts from like 10 years ago.
Shocking that I don't have the price in here. Oh, well. Maybe I'll find it in post and I'll throw it up here. Editing Ryan, if you're listening.
Editing Ryan.
No, I think it looks really cool. I do see that Vox element. I also see a Parker thing going on here.
Parker?
There's a bit of a Parker shape happening.
I can see that.
I mean, clearly it's giving you a Les Paul style of experience. Double humbucker, tune-o-matic, stop tail, etc., single cutaway sort of thing, amber knobs. You get the whole idea, carved top. It's got that going on. But it's got this kind of funky, retro, googie sort of thing happening, mixing in almost a coffee shop jazzy sort of way. This guitar's got a lot of personalities mixing together. And there's a bit of an Americana thing happening too with the butterscotch. Oh, you're taking pictures over here.
I got it.
You got
$950.
$950. I was thinking it was going to be like $3,000 or something like that. $950. Someone should buy this thing. It looks beautiful.
I don't see. What are you waiting for? Why is this still up?
If you want a pretty standard Les Paul style experience, I bet this will deliver it, but you're going to stick out on stage.
Yeah. People
are going to be like, what funky thing is that? That is a different type of guitar, but it's two humbuckers. Right. And a tune-o-matic. But man, it looks really fun. I'm not sure how I feel about the headstock. I appreciate the string angle across the nut.
You are the friggin'
I know. It doesn't matter at all to me, actually. But
it's funny.
I'm a little bit confused because it says cougar, but it shows a bird.
Maybe that's just like the symbol of the store.
Do the Japanese think that cougars are birds? Is that what's going on? Japanese people in the audience, let me know. Do you think cougars are birds? Because cougars are not birds.
Do you process these as bird inlays?
I do not, but if someone made the argument that they were, I wouldn't argue with them too much. I guess if it had a little eagle head on each one, I'd be like, okay, that's a bird. But to me, it just looks like a bit of a Victorian flourish.
I was going to call it a mustache.
It does have a mustache thing going on. By the way, Steve, I trimmed my beard.
Oh, you trimmed your beard.
People were probably like, man, something's different this episode.
I didn't even think about it.
I trimmed my beard. That's what it is.
Congratulations.
I know everything feels different.
That's why you didn't like Opeth, because your beard's gone. You've lost that edge.
Like Samson, I've lost all my strength to resist Opeth.
People were like, oh yeah, with a beard like that, he's gonna love Opeth, and now the beard's gone, and you don't love Opeth.
No, some people took it so personally. They're like, "How dare you?" And there's like, we're back on the topic.
I know.
There's people who they can't catch the nuance in between. I don't like it, and me saying. The difference between me saying I don't like it, it's not my style of music, and me saying I think it's bad.
Well, it didn't help again because of the Instagram edit.
Yeah,
I go Opeth, and the one that RJ uses, you going, ugh,
no,
no.
Throwing up. That would be a great reel or short if you just listing bands and just me throwing up over and over again, just like puking in a bucket.
Jesus. 950.
950. This thing looks hot for 950. If I was in the market for a double humbucky guitar like this, and I wanted to have a funky shape and a bit of like a vintage mojo, because this has got mojo. You've got cracking on the binding. You got chips. You got temperature cracking. The frets look like they're in good condition, which has me a little bit worried. Maybe it sucks. No one played this thing, maybe. But it's modern. It's vintage. It's weird. It's affordable. It's from Japan. There's so many bubbles in this Venn diagram that make this sexy to me.
I mean, if this guy has a luthier, then maybe he's kept up on the fret.
Maybe it's a refret,
or maybe it's just been it's just been taken care of.
There's enough bumps and cracks and wear on this thing. Obviously, someone's been playing it. I'm going to say refret. I bet someone refretted this, or they just have a light touch.
Yeah, I mean the frets do look low. They look era appropriate for the fret type.
This would be a killer birth year guitar for someone. 1986. Who was born in 1986? Get yourself a birth year guitar.
No, it's 1983.
That's not what it says on the headstock.
It says, does it say 86 on the headstock?
It might say 5.
Yeah, it says 1985 on the headstock. So why does it say 1983 in the era?
Maybe the body's 1983 and the neck is 1985.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe they couldn't read it either. On first pass. I think that's a 3.
All right, I like this guitar. It's cool.
I do too.
$250 or $950. Shipping is a little high, $125 shipping.
That's not bad.
From Tucson, Arizona. Here's what you do. You buy this guitar.
That was the shipping for the person who screen grabbed this. It was not the shipping for, or you're looking at the ad right now. I screen
grabbed it.
All right. You're looking at the ad
right now. You buy this
guitar.
Wait, wouldn't it be any cheaper to have it shipped to Phil McKnight? I was like, and then you go visit Phil McKnight and get your guitar.
Yeah, that'd be way more expensive. Even if I drove
there. It made sense in my head.
All right. I'd probably spend $100 in gas getting there and back.
Yeah.
But then I'd have to get a hotel and stuff because Phil won't share his bed with me.
It's because he has a wife.
I know. She's like, you can sleep with Phil tonight. And he's just like, no. Phil, I'll let you be the big spoon.
Oh man,
then I got to get back. You know how much fuel costs to get back up into into orbit? Like, it's getting down is cheap. Getting back up, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's like $10,000 a pound to put something in orbit.
We said a long time ago that we would not use Patreon for paywall-y type things. And that might be changing like a little bit. Like not a lot, but maybe
enough.
A little
changing
bit.
Enough.
It's going to change from 0 to 1. Maybe 2. We don't know, but
we'll be explaining a few things to the Patreons. You guys just get to find out over time.
But the main thing for Patreon is we just appreciate everyone who supports the making of this podcast, who literally keep the lights on around here. Like when you had a light blow out somewhere.
Light there, light there, light there, light there,
and
light
you
there,
bought a
light
new
there,
light,
light
literally
there,
keeping the lights
lights
on.
there. I didn't even count. There's lights everywhere in here. They're all kept on by the Patreons.
Yeah. You just support what we do on the podcast, the shenanigans, plus, you did that guitar refinish project. That's part of the things that we can do because of the support on Patreon. So if you want to help support this show, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast, where for as little as $1 a month or as much as whatever you want to do, you can support this show.
Sky is the limit and beyond.
Yep. Like at the $1 level this week, Barry Gildea. Thank you, Barry.
Welcome.
And that's that. One of the things that we do that is a way to help support the program in a kind of an indirect way, but a fun way, because it kind of just gives us something to do and have fun with, is we have a P.O. box that's located about 2 miles away from here, maybe?
Yeah,
3
pretty
miles
much
away from
exactly.
here. And we got a bunch of mail. Some of this came in a while ago. Ryan and I, because of reasons, have been recording in different places. So,
Should we go smallest to largest?
Let's do this one first, because I know this one's been waiting for me for a while. This was always cut towards your podcast co-host. Good Lord.
You really have problems with boxes, man.
This is a bag. It's worse.
How is a bag worse?
Because it's not rigid. Oh, it's a giant box. For Steve. Ryan will get more. Fuzz him soon.
That's
These are specifically Steve's. Love all you do with love. Justice. This is from Justice over at Fuzz Imp.
Nice.
A couple pedals.
Yeah, he's got some pedals he's going to be sending me for
talked about a while ago. One of these is the Echo Moon, the delay.
Ooh.
From Fuzz Imp. Ooh, oh, I like this little rubber guy. You got a little
it keeps the space dust out.
switch condom on here.
Let me see that thing.
Check that out. Echo Moon. And then the other one, because he knows I'm a rat boy. Got to get that Drat.
Drat.
The Drat, I believe, is based on the Brat.
Right.
Proco
Obviously.
Brat. Obviously. Ooh, love that. Click, 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 click.
This one's soft.
All right. Thank you, Justice. Fuzz and Effects. There'll be a link down below. You want to check them out. There's a lot of cool things. He just started ramping up his building again, I believe, this year. So lots of fun things happening over there.
I'm going to crack open this envelope.
Crack open that envelope.
Good things come in small packages. My mom promised me.
What?
That's what she said every Christmas when all the boxes were real small. Oh my gosh, here's a whole handwritten thing here.
Hello, Steve. My name is Brian Stockwell. Sorry, I write like a kid. I do have bad writing, but I am 47. Anyway, I watch this show, every new show, and tonight I saw you need a truss rod cover. I make them out of flamed maple. I can make you one if you like, free, of course. If you can send me an email address so we can talk, would be great. Sorry, I'm bad on computer. Things like I can email and text. Haha. My cell number is a number and an email. Hope to hear from you again. I love 60 Cycle. Thanks, Brian. I'll reach out to you about that.
And I've got one written to me as well, and it tells me a lot of information about all the guitars that he has that he loves. And he enclosed this purple sparkly pick.
Very cool.
Thank you, Brian. I'm not going to read this whole thing.
Oh, it's like a cut up Jazz 3. That's neat.
Yeah.
It's got a signature, but I don't know whose signature that is.
It's so neat to get handwritten letters.
Yeah.
When does that ever happen anymore?
Thanks, Brian.
Have them delivered all the way up here, too? Incredible. Here, you go for that box there, and I'll open the big one.
All right, this one's sent by Ken Doucette. I think Ken might be in the Patreon, but I could be wrong. Oh, it's a shirt.
Yeah, I recognize that name, Ken Doucette.
It's a couple shirts.
Well, there's a couple of us, Steve.
Here's a shirt for you and a shirt for me. And
I don't even know what it says. I'm going to end up wearing it. I wear every shirt that's clean.
I don't know what that means. Do you know what it means? King shits and they blue.
I'm assuming it's a band.
Steve and Ryan, as suggested, here's some shameless self-promotion for my YouTube show.
This one's probably yours.
I'm a 3-time winner on the podcast, so here's giving back.
That's why we know his name.
For the free pals I received. Ken King Shit Doucette, King Shit Sunday Blues.
Oh, they're both 2XL.
YouTube.com/Rudos1. Apparently he has some stuff on YouTube. So thanks, Ken.
You know what? There we go. Now I am in fashion.
Let's open up that big old boy.
We got the big one here. This one is from Blvd Fulfillment Center.
I don't know what that means.
I know. I have a feeling it's something someone ordered for us, and it just came from a fulfillment center instead of from their private residence. Do you want to look at the
packing slip, or are we just going to see what happens?
We're just going to see what happens.
My arm. Oh, it was so fast, the camera didn't even capture it.
Oh, my goodness. I think there's going to be treats. What? What is in here?
What is going on?
Oh. Blvd large starter kit humidity. It looks like a brand sent us stuff. Steve has got a letter there.
This is from Joe Highland. Hello, Ryan and Steve. Based on the content of your YouTube channel, we thought you'd see benefit in the included Blvd music samples to protect guitars from damage caused by humidity fluctuations. Enjoy the samples and shirts, and please reach out in the future if you have any questions about our product. Take care, Joe Highland. Blvd. So these are all guitar
I mean, sometimes
protection,
life support goes out and we divert power other directions, and the humidity gets weird up here. Sometimes it's super humid and just like water all over everything, and sometimes it's just bone dry because we just move all that water into the cooling system. So this is the sort of stuff where you need this. There's a lot of it too. They gave us so much. This feels like it's full of fluid. Look this stuff up, guys. Figure out how we should be using this.
There's a Blvd's two-way humidity control solves every problem with refillable humidifiers. No more fluctuations in cycles in humidity. So there's humidity stuff. This large starter kit has a humidity control. It's got for large wooden instruments, including acoustic guitar, electric guitar, cello.
And look, they got our shirt sizes right. XXL and
Nice.
XL for me.
Thanks.
And that's not a dig on King Shit Sunday Blues, sending us both 2XLs. I'm going to wear it. It's going to be a little big on me, but that's the style.
Two-way humidity control, outside or inside case, perfect for instruments on display or on stage. So it looks like the way it's designed, because you can attach it pretty quickly, and then you just attach it to the strings. So if it's hanging on your wall, you just put it on the guitar on the wall, and you just take it off when you want to play.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Cool stuff. This
Very
is
functional.
This is something that brands could just be doing all the time with our UPS box, is just sending us stuff that you want us to hold up on the show so people will be aware of it. Blvd, guys.
This is so much stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
Thanks again, Joe. That's awesome. Whew.
All right, last ad?
Last ad.
We don't have another sponsor, right?
No.
Next week we have two sponsors.
Yeah.
We were going to do the Wedge sent by Philip Lauer.
Yep.
And I tried to put... Okay, maybe I doubled.
Here we go. Robin Wedge guitar signed by Slaughter. Pink Robin Wedge guitar signed by Slaughter.
To listen to Slaughter now.
But only Tim Kelly's signature is legible. It is obviously quite used with damage to the top and bottom. Still a super rare piece, as only 200 of these were ever made. Message with any questions I can ship, but would prefer not to. Payment via Venmo or cash. No Zelle. This is in New York, New York. Not to be confused with New York, New Jersey.
No. When I looked at this, I suddenly imagined an alternate reality.
Okay.
Where I was doing demos as a child, apparently in the late 80s, early 90s.
Uh-huh.
And if that had happened, if I had been doing guitar demos on YouTube that didn't exist back then, maybe it was VHSs that got shipped all over the country so people could watch some young kid do gear demos somehow. Man, every other guitar would have been some sort of pointy monstrosity. It was an arms race to see who could make the pointiest guitars back then. If you wanted to be on stage, you had to have a guitar with angles and tips and little bits that can break off if you bump them. And this is just like...
This guitar's bit was listed 9 weeks ago. So do you know anything about Robin guitars?
It's so pointy. Isn't Robin the one that made the guitar that the Squier Venus was based on?
I don't know.
That's a weird connection that's floating around in my head. I might be totally off on that. But the headstock is doing that kind of Kramer banana headstock sort of thing.
Robin Guitars is a boutique manufacturing company that produces electric guitars located in Houston, Texas. Starting in 1982, they were made in Japan by Tokai and Chushin until
they might have been
until 1986 when they moved to the United States. Notable endorsers include Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimmy Vaughan, who are frequently seen on stage with the RDN 6-string. Eric Johnson played them. Steve Blaze of Lillian Axe. I don't know who that is. So I don't know if they're associated with Slaughter. They are associated apparently with Butch Walker and Pat Smear. Oh, they are associated with Tim Kelly from Slaughter.
There you go.
So they are.
I'm going to look up some pictures of other Robin guitars here.
Well, I did find one of these.
Okay, this was a connection. The Robin Ranger is often called the inspiration for the Squire 51.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, my brain was trying to connect something there. There's another one.
Yeah.
And there's another one. I could just keep showing you pictures of the same guitar.
You're just going. I know I've seen some of the whichever. I think it was is it the medley, the one that SRV played? I'm not sure. Oh, they're also associated with the Rio Grande pickups. I didn't know that.
Oh man, I just found a Robin Ranger Robin Raider from 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
It is a heavy metal Mosrite.
Oh yeah,
look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
I'll take a quick screen grab of that. Editing, Ryan, don't forget. Oh man, a heavy metal Mosrite. I want that. $200 for that. 1999999. All the nines and decimals included.
I did see that there is one of these Robin wedges on Reverb for $1,900. So actually cheaper than this one.
By $100.
Like, yeah, but the one on Reverb's in like pristine shape.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this one.
But it does not have Tim Kelly's signature.
What color is it?
It's the same color.
Oh, it's the same color.
It's red.
I'd save the $100. I don't need the signature.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on it. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's a really cool design.
There's a bit of a flex with these pointy guitars.
Right.
And these odd shapes and stuff like that. And the flex is, I ain't never playing this sitting down. I'm a rock star. I'm never playing a guitar when I'm not on stage in front of thousands and thousands of screaming fans. Why would I need a guitar that can sit on my lap? But this one could possibly split on your lap, but is going to it's named the Wedge. And what it's referring to is the wedge that it's going to drive in between your legs. It's just going to keep spreading them further and further apart. And you have to really tighten up those muscles to hold it on your lap.
Yeah, do your Kegels, folks.
Yeah, exactly. You know, this is a Suzanne Summers exercise equipment guitar right here. This is for tightening up those thighs, those inner thighs. And it's very effective. You do that, you play this guitar for 15 minutes a day, you're going to see results, is what I'm saying.
Sure. Why not?
Nice yes and then, Steve.
What do you say to Suzanne Summers? There's no coming back from that. What's interesting is this has like a maple headstock with a very simple logo on it. The one that I'm seeing on Reverb has like the full on.
I prefer this headstock.
You like that subtle, huh?
I like the banana headstock.
I like the subtle banana. Ryan likes the banana. He's in Dole Men's Club. Everything's measured by banana.
Dole Men's Club?
There's a giant Facebook group called Dole Men's Club, and it's just guys making like weird, like very mundane observations. But everything that's like, oh, look at the size of this thing. It's like the joke is like banana included for measurement.
Right. Well, I understand that joke. I'm not part of the club.
Yeah, there's like 1 million people in this group.
There's 1 million people in the Dole Men's Club?
Yeah. I don't even know if I'm in it, but I still keep getting it served to me.
I want it to be served to me. I don't know if I want to be in it either, but how do I get this on my feed?
Yeah.
Feed me your bananas, Men's Dole Club. How many people are in there compared to the size of a banana? That's what I need to know.
Ryan.
Yeah, Steve.
Adventurers Club.
I'm gonna say, oh man, that Headless Pacifica is.
The answer is Headless Pacifica.
Yeah, Headless Pacifica for sure. So congratulations, Roy Bunch. You just won a bunch of dollars. Sorry for punning your name up so much. You just won 25 virtual dollars printed on heavy digital cardstock to use at the fast food establishment or retailer of your choice. Steve will be emailing you probably the morning that this show launches.
Wrong. That's wrong.
When do you do it?
I write the email and set it to schedule to send on the afternoon after the episode airs.
So they can.
So it can be a surprise.
There's a potential for them to find out if they watch.
Yeah.
I like that. I like
or
your style.
If they listen to it when the original audio drops. Yeah.
Yeah. I like your style.
All right. This song was sent by Mark Metzger. This is just pure coincidence. Hey guys, my name is Mark and I play in a band called Commander Pilot. We are from Oklahoma City. We are a group of 40, 50 something year old adolescents that play spacey surf pop punk, or at least that's what we think. We would be honored for you to play our surf inspired tune Mai Tais at the Magnetar.
Buckle up. Here we go.
On your show. In case you're wondering, a magnetar is a type of neutron star.
We know.
I didn't know. With an extremely powerful magnetic field, per Wikipedia. Mai Tais are a fruity beverage that are the official cocktail of the city of Oakland, California, also per Wikipedia. Anyway, we absolutely love the show. Thanks, Mark. The Wi-Fi signal is not getting through to the station.
I'll go kick it.
It's not working.
Did you blow in the cartridge?
Yeah.
All right.
I like that little bassy bass.
Yeah. I like it. Nice vibe to that.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's drivey. All right. Bye, everybody.
Stay grounded.